Hey guys, welcome back to Whispers of Myth. Today we're delving into a truly mystifying case that I think has puzzled experts and the public alike. And that's the strange disappearance of and reappearance of Danny Filippidis, a firefighter from Toronto. So make sure you're comfortable because this story is kind of a real mindbender. So on February 7th, 2018, Danny, who's an experienced firefighter, was enjoying a skiing trip at Whiteface Mountain in New York State, which is not very far from me. It was supposed to be a fun day at the slopes for Danny. However, things went really weird. There was a surreal turn of events when Danny actually mysteriously vanished at the bottom of one of the ski runs.
Police searching for him for nearly 6 days after friends reported him missing a week ago today when he did not return from a ride down the slopes.
So he was last seen at what he thinks is one of the bunny hills, and all of his belongings, they later turned up at the ski lodge, but Danny was gone. So it's the kind of disappearance that kind of rings some really weird bells when somebody is with a bunch of friends skiing and they just immediately disappear. So, realizing the severity of the situation, there was a massive search operation. We're talking over like 165 personnel from multiple agencies, scouring the mountain area, looking for any sign of Danny, but nothing was ever found. The search itself was extremely extensive. It was well coordinated. The terrain obviously challenging, a lot of forest area, some small mountainous area. The community and fellow firefighters, they rallied. Even the guys from Toronto came down to engage in the search. But, after 6 days, they couldn't find him. So here's where it gets even weirder. 6 days later, right, halfway across the country, Danny turns up in Sacramento, California.
Well, the big question police are asking tonight is still simply how 49-year-old Konstantinos Danny Filippidis wound up missing here at Whiteface Mountain and turned up alive nearly 3,000 miles away 6 days later in Sacramento, California. Now, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department says Filippidis was found alone yesterday afternoon near the rental car terminal at the Sacramento airport. This police say after he called his wife, who told him to call 911. He told police he did not know what day it was and appeared to be confused. He says he caught a ride to Sacramento from Wilmington, New York on a big rig, and today at a news conference, New York State Police say they have not spoken with that truck driver, but they've spoken with Filippidis' family, who say Filippidis was overwhelmed when he found out the amount of searching that was going on for him at Whiteface Mountain.
He's still wearing his ski clothes. Actually, he's still wearing his helmet. And he's still wearing his goggles. So picture this. Here's a guy in ski gear, thousands of miles away from where he was last seen, in a city with no snow. So to add to the mystery, Danny was obviously, he appeared disoriented. He had no memory of how he ended up there, and generally just very confused.
Apparently he was confused. He wasn't able to give direct answers. The police that eventually made contact with him were concerned and brought him to get some medical attention.
And is he still in hospital or is he in custody?
I don't know the answer to that. I believe he's still under medical monitoring.
Can you tell us how he made contact with his wife?
He had phoned. He had called her by a nickname. She quickly recognized the voice and that it was him. Then they lost contact. He contacted her again, and they kept him on the phone and asked him to call 911 to get him help as soon as possible.
Where was he at that point?
I know it's somewhere near Sacramento, California.
Do you know what kind of place he was in that he was found in?
I don't have information to that.
Was he with anybody at the time?
He was alone.
Does he have a history of mental illness?
I'm not aware of any history of mental illness.
Was there any signs of trauma? Do you know if he's being treated for any other conditions at this time?
I'm told that he still had the same clothing that he was skiing in, and the authorities seem to indicate that it looked like he had been in those clothes since he's been missing.
So for 5.5 days at this point.
So when Danny was found, Danny really, he couldn't provide any clues. He simply had no memory of the event. After he disappeared, he just had no clue. So how did a firefighter from Toronto end up in California without recalling a single moment of the journey? It's really bizarre. So how did he travel there? And was he still coherent? Why was he still in his ski gear? These are the questions that are really on everyone's mind. It was on the minds of the investigators at the time. So the circumstances surrounding both the disappearance and his reappearance, totally shrouded in mystery. I mean, there's no clear explanation that ever surfaced, despite extensive media coverage and investigations. It's a scenario just completely ripe for speculation. So there's theories from kidnappings, secret cross-country girlfriends, alien abduction, amnesia, confusion, mental health. The list goes on and on. But the case itself has left experts completely baffled. Conspiracy theorists have went off the rails on this one, which rightfully so. It's very strange. So it challenges really our understanding of, what's possible, blurring the lines between rational and what would appear to be something out of the ordinary, supernatural. Who knows?
I'm still shocked. I'm back to work. I feel great. But, you forget about it for a few days, and then someone or something jogs your memory, and then you think back at it, and it's still overwhelmingly shocking to that it happened. I feel fortunate that I'm here, even just talking today, because of all the potential things that I guess could have resulted. When I woke up and came to having it discussed with the fellas later on post week, and having discussed later on with some of the ski patrol and the New York State Police, it was somewhat determined that I was probably on the Kids Hill. I must have made a wrong turn, but somehow that's where I was. I wasn't in a high-level mountain area, or I was pretty well near the bottom of the hill. I didn't make it to the main lodge because I think I headed towards the car, which is adjacent to the lodge. And then with my vehicle not there, it really got a little overwhelming. And I think that's when I'm assuming, I hailed or, put my arm up or something like that, just to hail a ride back into town. It was a truck.
Okay. Like a transport?
Like a transport.
Okay.
And I don't know if I said anything. I don't really recall having, I'm just assuming that I hailed a ride, and I'm not certain if I said anything, but I would assume that I must have said, you can get a ride or something. The doctor says, I think you had a severe head injury, and it was temporary, and everything's going to be normal for you moving forward. After 3 days, 4 days, 5th day, I think there's a lot of despair, a lot of stress on them, in the sense that it just didn't look reasonable that I would be found okay. Dad was here, Dad was gone, and wow, Dad's back. We could almost talk about anything now, in a sense that, I was close to them before, but even closer now.
So, what do you think? What do you think happened to Danny? Put it in the comments. I'm really curious as to what people really think happened to him. I have no idea. Is there a rational explanation? Or is it something beyond our current understanding? A lot to ponder on this story. So take a look at it. Do your research online and put in the comments what you think happened to Danny. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Whispers of Myth, and thanks for joining me here. And remember to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.